Most people think living past 100 is pure genetics and luck. You either win the lottery or you don't. But here's what researchers discovered when they studied the world's blue zones, those rare pockets where people routinely live to 100 and beyond. It's not about perfect genes or expensive supplements. The real secrets are hiding in plain sight, and they're nothing like what you'd expect. Today, I'm sharing 7 science-backed longevity secrets that keep people fit, sharp, and genuinely happy past 100 Dao. These aren't the obvious diet and exercise tips everyone talks about. These are the hidden lifestyle patterns that separate centenarians from the rest of US. Patterns you can start using today regardless of your age. Let's dive into the first secret that completely flips how we think about aging. Secret 1. The purpose paradox. Here's something that'll surprise you. Most centenarians never actually retired, not because they couldn't afford to, but because they discovered something powerful that modern society has completely forgotten. The Japanese have a word for it, Ikigai, which translates to reason for being, or having something meaningful to wake up for every single morning. A landmark study followed 7,000 people for nearly a decade and found that those with a strong sense of life purpose lived an average of 7 years longer than those without one. 7 years. That's not a small difference. That's the equivalent of curing heart disease. But here's where it gets interesting. In our culture, we're taught that retirement is the ultimate goal. Work hard for 40 years, then relax on a beach somewhere. Yet, research shows that people who completely stop working and contributing often see their health decline rapidly. It's called retirement syndrome, and it's killing people who should have decades of good life ahead of them. Centenarians approach this completely differently. Take Jiro Kimura from Japan, who lived to 116 and worked as a postal worker well into his 90s. Or consider the shepherds in Sardinia's Blue Zone, who continue tending their flocks into their 100s. They don't see work as something to escape from. They see meaningful contribution as essential to who they are. The key isn't staying in the same job forever. It's understanding the difference between a career and a purpose. Your career might end, but your purpose evolves. Maybe you transition from being a teacher to mentoring young people in your community. Maybe you go from running a business to sharing your wisdom with entrepreneurs. To find your Ikigai, ask yourself 4 questions. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? What can you be paid for? Your purpose lives at the intersection of these answers. The centenarians figured out how to keep that intersection alive and growing throughout their entire lives, not just their working years. Start cultivating this now. Identify what gives your life meaning beyond just paying bills, because the research is clear. People with purpose don't just live longer, they live better. Secret 2. The social safety net. Loneliness is deadlier than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's not hyperbole. That's the conclusion from multiple large-scale studies. Yet, we live in the most socially isolated period in human history. The average American has fewer than 2 close friends, and many report having no one they can confide in during difficult times. Centenarians live in a completely different reality. In blue zones around the world, you'll find multi-generational households where great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and children all share daily life together. In Okinawa, they have something called mowai, social support groups that form in childhood and last for life. These aren't just casual friendships. These are people who commit to each other through everything life throws at them. Modern isolation is literally aging us faster at the cellular level. Chronic loneliness triggers inflammation, weakens immune function, and accelerates cognitive decline. It's like living in a constant state of stress that your body was never designed to handle long-term. But here's what centenarians understand that we've forgotten. Relationships require daily investment, not just occasional contact. In Sardinia, men gather in the town square every single day to talk, argue, and laugh together. In Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, families eat together multiple times per day, and neighbors drop by unannounced regularly. You don't need to move to a blue zone to create this. Start building what researchers call your chosen family. People who aren't necessarily blood relatives, but who become your core support network. This means showing up consistently, not just when it's convenient. Make daily connection a non-negotiable habit. Call someone you care about while you're commuting. Eat at least one meal per day with another person when possible. Join groups based on shared interests, not just networking opportunities. Prioritize face-to-face interaction over digital communication whenever you can. The centenarians prove that strong relationships aren't just nice to have. They're essential medicine for a long, healthy life. Start building your social safety net today, because the connections you nurture now will literally determine how well you age. Secret 3. The stress response revolution. Here's something that might shock you. Centenarians don't live stress-free lives. They face the same challenges we all do. Family conflicts, financial pressures, health scares, loss of loved ones. The difference isn't that they avoid stress. The difference is how they process it. In the Mediterranean, there's this beautiful tradition called the siesta. Most people think it's just about napping, but it's actually about creating a daily reset button. When stress builds up, they don't let it accumulate for weeks or months. They pause, breathe, and let their nervous system recover. In Okinawa, they practice something called hara-hachi-ba, eating until you're 80% full. But this philosophy extends beyond food. It's about moderation in everything, including how much stress you take on at once. They understand that your capacity isn't infinite, and pushing past your limits consistently will break you down faster than any disease. The research backs this up. Chronic, low-level stress, the kind most of us live with daily, is far more damaging than occasional acute stress. When you're constantly worried about deadlines, bills, relationships, and the future, your body stays in fight or flight mode. This floods your system with cortisol, which literally accelerates cellular aging. Centenarians have mastered what researchers call the worry window technique. Instead of carrying stress all day long, they designate specific times to process their concerns. Maybe it's 15 minutes in the morning, or a conversation with a trusted friend in the evening. They feel the stress fully, deal with what they can control, then consciously let it go. Building stress resilience isn't about becoming emotionally numb. It's about developing the ability to bounce back quickly. Centenarians do this through simple daily practices. Deep breathing when they feel overwhelmed, taking short walks to clear their minds, or engaging in repetitive activities like gardening or cooking that naturally calm the nervous system. The key insight here is that stress management isn't a luxury. It's essential maintenance for your body and mind. Start treating it like brushing your teeth. Create your own daily reset ritual, whether that's 5 minutes of meditation, a brief walk outside, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Your future self will thank you for learning this skill now. Secret 4. Movement as medicine. Walk into any gym, and you'll see people grinding through intense workouts, sweating profusely, pushing their bodies to the limit. Now picture a 100-year-old from Sardinia. They're probably tending their garden, walking to the market, or doing household chores. They're not doing CrossFit or running marathons, yet they're stronger and more mobile than most 70-year-olds in developed countries. Centenarians discovered something profound about movement that our fitness industry completely misses. They don't exercise, they live actively. Every day involves natural, functional movement that serves a purpose beyond just burning calories or building muscle. This is what researchers call exercise snacks, small bursts of movement throughout the day rather than one intense session. A centenarian might walk to get groceries, spend an hour gardening, take stairs instead of elevators, and do household tasks by hand. By the end of the day, they've moved their bodies in dozens of different ways without ever thinking about it as exercise. The science behind this is fascinating. Sitting for hours at a time literally shuts down the enzymes responsible for breaking down fat, A, and B, maintaining healthy blood sugar levels. No amount of gym time can completely counteract 8 hours of sitting. But if you break up that sitting with just 2 minutes of movement every hour, you can prevent most of the metabolic damage. Centenarians also prioritize movements that keep their joints mobile and their balance sharp. They squat down to tend gardens, reach overhead to pick fruit, carry groceries up hills, and walk on uneven terrain. These natural movement patterns maintain the functional strength and flexibility that prevent falls and injuries as they age. Here's the practical takeaway. Stop thinking about exercise as something you do for an hour at the gym. Start thinking about movement as something you weave throughout your entire day. Take phone calls while walking. Do household chores by hand instead of using every convenience gadget. Park farther away. Take stairs. Garden. Dance while cooking. The goal isn't to become an athlete. The goal is to keep your body moving in natural, purposeful ways that maintain strength, flexibility, and cardiovascular health without feeling like a chore. Movement should enhance your life, not dominate it. Secret 5. The wisdom of routine. There's something almost magical about watching a centenarian go through their day. They wake up at the same time, eat meals at consistent hours, and follow patterns that might seem boring to our chaos-driven culture. But this isn't about being rigid or stuck in their ways. This is about understanding something profound that modern science is just beginning to appreciate. Your body runs on rhythm, and when you honor those rhythms, everything works better. Your circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep. It's a master clock that controls hormone production, cellular repair, immune function, and even when your body burns fat most efficiently. When centenarians maintain consistent daily patterns, they're essentially keeping their internal clocks perfectly synchronized, which translates to better health at every level. In blue zones, you'll find people who've eaten breakfast at 7 a.m. for decades, taken afternoon walks at the same time for years, and gone to bed within the same hour range their entire adult lives. This isn't monotony, it's optimization. Their bodies know exactly what to expect and when. So energy isn't wasted trying to adapt to constantly changing schedules. But here's what's really interesting. Centenarians build flexibility within their structure. They have consistent wake times, but might vary their morning activities based on weather or mood. They eat meals at regular intervals, but adjust the specific foods based on seasons or social occasions. They've mastered the art of being structured without being restrictive. Sleep quality matters more than sleep quantity for these populations. A centenarian might sleep 7 hours consistently and wake up refreshed, while someone else sleeps 9 hours fitfully and wakes up exhausted. The difference is sleep consistency and creating evening routines that signal the body it's time to rest and repair. Start building routines that support rather than restrict your life. Pick consistent wake and sleep times that work with your natural energy patterns. Create morning rituals that energize you and evening rituals that help you wind down. Eat meals at roughly the same times each day when possible. Your body will reward this predictability with better energy, mood, and health. Secret 6. The gratitude growth mindset. Most people view aging as a series of losses, losing strength, losing memory, losing independence. Centenarians see it completely differently. They view each year as an opportunity for continued growth, learning, and contribution. This isn't just positive thinking. It's a fundamental difference in how they process the experience of getting older. Daily gratitude practices are woven into blue zone cultures in ways that feel natural, not forced. In Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, families begin meals by acknowledging what they're thankful for that day. In Sardinia, elders share stories that highlight lessons learned and wisdom gained. These aren't formal gratitude journals. They're organic expressions of appreciation that happen throughout daily life. The neuroplasticity research explains why this matters so much. Your brain continues forming new neural pathways throughout your entire life, but only if you keep challenging it with new experiences and perspectives. Centenarians understand this instinctively. They're constantly learning new skills, taking on new challenges, and approaching familiar situations with what Buddhists call beginner's mind. Take someone like Nola Ox, who became the world's oldest college graduate at age 95, or consider the centenarians who learn new languages, master new crafts, or take on leadership roles in their communities well into their 100s. They don't see age as a barrier to growth. They see it as providing more time and wisdom to pursue meaningful challenges. This mindset shift has measurable effects on longevity. People who view aging as continued development rather than decline show slower rates of cognitive decline, better physical health outcomes, and higher life satisfaction. They literally age more slowly because their brains and bodies are constantly adapting to new demands. The practical application starts with reframing how you think about challenges and setbacks. Instead of "I'm too old to learn this," try "I have enough experience to learn this well." Instead of focusing on what you've lost over the years, celebrate what you've gained in wisdom, perspective, and emotional resilience. Cultivate genuine curiosity about the world around you. Take on learning projects that excite you, not because you have to, but because you want to. Approach familiar activities with fresh eyes, looking for new ways to improve or enjoy them. The centenarians prove that the best years of life can be ahead of you at any age, as long as you maintain the mindset that growth never stops. Secret 7. The legacy living philosophy. The final secret might be the most powerful of all. Centenarians don't just live for themselves, they live with future generations constantly in mind. This isn't about leaving money in a will or having their names on buildings. This is about making decisions today based on how they'll impact people they may never meet. In Okinawan culture, they have a concept called nuchi gusui, medicine for life. But it's not about pills or treatments. It's about the understanding that your actions today either heal or harm the world for those who come after you. This long-term thinking fundamentally changes how you approach everything, from relationships to daily choices. Research shows that people who feel connected to something larger than themselves live significantly longer and report higher life satisfaction. When you're focused only on your immediate needs and desires, life feels smaller and less meaningful. When you're contributing to something that will outlast you, every day has deeper purpose. Centenarians naturally become mentors and wisdom keepers in their communities. They share knowledge with younger generations, not because they have to, but because they understand that their experiences only have value if they're passed on. This creates a beautiful cycle where teaching others actually keeps their own minds sharp and engaged. Many centenarians also practice environmental stewardship as a form of legacy living. They plant trees they'll never sit under, tend gardens that will feed future families, and make choices that protect the world for their great-grandchildren. This connection to the future gives their present actions deeper meaning. You don't need to be 100 to start thinking this way. Begin asking yourself, how will this decision affect people 10 years from now? What knowledge or skills do I have that could help someone else? What kind of world am I helping to create through my daily choices? Start building your legacy today by finding ways to contribute to something bigger than yourself. The real secret to longevity isn't adding years to your life. It's adding life to your years. These 7 patterns work at any age, because they're about living fully, not just living longer. Subscribe for more evidence-based insights that help you thrive.